OSP clarified why it is not prosecuting Adu Boahen for influence peddling. And there's a story in this by Citi Newsroom. The story reads, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, has clarified why it is not prosecuting former Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, Charles Adu Boahen, despite claiming it has sufficient evidence of influence peddling. According to the OSP, Ghana currently has not criminalized influence peddling. Hence, the office lacks the legal mandate to pursue prosecution in this matter. The OSP closed its investigations into corruption allegations leveled against Mr. Adu Boahen after the case was referred to it in November 2022 by the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, Mr. Adu Boahen was captured in a documentary put together by investigative journalist Anas Aremiawa Nas and his Tiger IPI team, claiming Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia could be paid $200,000 as an appearance fee for investors. So I think that, I mean, the story, we know the background, to this story, and this is where we've come to. The OSP says that, well, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't smell any corruption in this. Influence peddling, yes, but corruption, no. So if the Attorney General wants to take it up, they are free to do so. Elvis?
Well, I think I have a little problem with the conclusion, the OSP. See, why investigations is to give us so much hope that they are going to do something about the situation, and they come to publish a report like this, it makes the public to lose confidence in them. Why do I say this? The OSP never needed any additional evidence to investigate it because everything about this case was captured by Anas in his video. The money that he is accused of collecting are all on video, right? And Anas filed a report with all the evidence. The question is it that the OSP really didn't examine the evidence to know that what we are talking about here will end up at influence peddling, and therefore there was no need to even tell the public that we are investigating? Wouldn't they have made this statement earlier to let the public know that even if they should investigate, this is what they will come to, and therefore there was no need for them to go about it? But now you go through all the investigation, and you come and tell us that all that has captured Anas and everything happened, and that the thing cannot be prosecuted.
They did not want to probably go beyond just the physical, just what we saw in the video, and ask further questions.
What did you go? Everything that the reporter said, everything that the OSP reporter said, is clearly what Anas has presented as a complaint. We all saw the videos he showed. This is what, in fact, the stories that were published by the Crusading Guide about this reveal all these things, all the things that has happened. So you see, I think that when we come to that conclusion, the truth of the matter is that the OSP is not wrong. Truth is that there is something called no crime without law. It is international jurisprudence everywhere. And it says that it's a fundamental concept that underlines the idea that criminal liability should be based on clear pre-existing laws that complicity define what constitutes a crime. So what everywhere in the world is accepted is that every country determines the laws that it governs with. And that if there is something that's going to be called a criminal offense, that offense should first of all be stated in law, defined what it is, and then the punishment for committing that offense should all be clearly stated in law. And it is only when you breach that now you can be prosecuted for committing a crime. So the OSP has made us to understand there's no law against influence peddling. So there's no way they are going. The truth is that you go to any court, you lose because it's not stated in law that influence peddling is a crime in Ghana. It's not stated that if somebody committed, this is the process you take the person through. It's not if the person is found guilty, this is the punishment you should be meted out to the person. So it is obvious that clearly there's no way we are going to deal with influence peddling. And we must understand that so long as it is not in our law, it's not in the Criminal Procedure Code Act 60, there's no way any institution is going to prosecute anybody for that. It is not only about influence peddling. There are several things that we do in this country. In other jurisdictions, there are laws against them. But in our country, there are no laws against them. So if you commit that in Ghana, it's not an offense. But if somebody in a jurisdiction where that is criminalized engages in that, it's an offense. In country Ghana right now, lobbying is not categorized. There's no law on lobbying now. So if somebody should go and engage in lobbying, and as we speak, is caught, how are you going to prosecute the person? Because at the end of the day,
it's not a crime.
It's not a crime. It's not stated in law that lobbying has to be done in this way, and when if you do it this way, it's a crime. But if you do lobbying in a certain way in the US or in the UK, and it's against what is stated in law, you'll be punished because the law stipulates what lobbying is about, and that what if you do doesn't constitute lobbying, you have to be punished.
Right.
There are several things that are happening in this country today. If they happen in other jurisdictions, people will go to jail. Yeah. But it will happen here, nobody will go to jail because our laws have not said that this is the position of the country's law on this issue. And therefore, if you do it, you have committed a crime. We are not able to punish politicians because there is no law on campaign financing in this country as we speak.
Yeah.
We have been talking about this in this Fourth Republic. Let's have regulations about campaign financing. Talk up to today. We are going to 2024 election and still there's no law about campaign financing. So people say all kinds of things that they can do with money in the campaign. And really, if you say you are arresting them and taking them to court, you're not going to go any law that says that in campaign financing, these are the stipulated when that the person breached it, and for that reason the person should be punished. So you realize that it's just talk up to now. So it's the truth of the matter is that a lot of things we do in this country, that is why corruption perception there will always be up there, because the kind of things we do here in many other countries, if people do those things, it will be a clear case of you have breached the law. In America, people are sent to jail because they went to source for funding, like a political party, Elvis Daku political party. I've gone to source for funding. The law says that any money that is donated to a campaign cannot be used for my personal gain. It can only be used for the campaign. So if it is found that I use part of the money donated to my campaign for my personal gain, they send me to jail. It's not government money. Maybe I went to Larry, Charlie, I want to become MP, so you help me. And Larry give me 100,000. It's not me using to go and do posters, go to do campaign, go to do conferences.
You are going on holiday.
I decide to go and buy iPhone 14 and pocket it. And the moment I'm caught, even though it's money that Larry has given, Larry is a private person that gave me the money, I will go to jail for misusing that money. But in Ghana here, who will go to jail for doing that? That people say that when you see a lot of people contesting as presidential candidates, one of the reasons they do is that they go look for funding. And then, not even presidential, even national, internal elections, they go, I'm standing for national chairman. I'm going to be presidential. And people say it's a whole business in Ghana. And then when you get the monies for the donation, for you to campaign, even if you don't stay there, you decide that, I'll use 30% for the actual campaign. 50% I'm going to buy some land to build a house. 20% I'll buy a car. So it's a whole lucrative business. So if you see people say, I want to be MP, I want to be president, most of them really...
It's not beyond serving Ghana.
It's not beyond serving Ghana, but there's a whole business enterprise. But that business cannot flourish.
Let's take...
It can't flourish in US or UK because the laws are clear. So we should understand that people may do things that, because it is illegal in other countries, we also say it is illegal. But in our country, there's no law that makes that illegal.
Right. So you're still watching Breakfast Daily. The topic on the floor, Adu Boahen did not breach any law. And so special investigator says that it has closed the case against him. This is Breakfast Daily. When we come back, Larry will also have his take on this. We'll be right back.
Power support.
Your friend Obahema Equia Bohema. Asante mind the share concron. Aha me jine, Kumasi Adum. Franco Trading Enterprise, shop number 5. And a mijina hay. Now we shall say the Messia family. I'm a wire fair. Now when him say eba a mamre, any amania, yan tutunase, ni sentino, nanano, any mahimam. Me bumi mwase edimamu. Se perfume papa. Laptops, television set, Franco air condition, CCTV camera, Bluetooth speakers, home theater, accessories bia wupe bia. Se de ma bahaya me betoni ma papa. E de akoche mahemfo, ene mahemano no. Na eye Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone papa, accessories papa, air condition papa, TV papa ahemfie ene ha.
Thank you very much for staying with us. You're still live on Breakfast Daily, and this is the news review segment. We are still discussing Adu Boahen against the OSP and the fact that the OSP says that he doesn't see any corruption in the Anas expose, and so he is closing the case. My guest in the studio, Elvis Darko of the Find Out newspaper and newscenter.com, and Larry Dogbe of the Herald newspaper. Larry, your take on this?
Thank you. You know,
when you start your statement, you start with laughter, then I stop mischief. What do you want to say?
No, there's no mischief. But we reported at the beginning of this whole thing that it won't go anywhere.
There's a case of I told you so.
Oh yeah, we said it. We said it was not going to go anywhere. I could give you the story, because you see, it's this that there was an entrapment. Okay,
Yeah.
There was an entrapment. Now you read through the OSP's, report, and he's struggling to tell you about how this is a sting operation. Okay, a sting operation is done with the hope of catching some people who are to get themselves involved in something criminal.
In the act.
In the act.
In the act.
You understand? But I mean, how this is not a sting operation. This is not a sting operation. I'm struggling to talk about this. You have the OSP being the lawyer and a friend to Anas. Okay? And the same Anas who is the person who did the documentary now petitions his friend.
And his law firm was representing Anas.
Exactly. And his former lawyer to sit over a thing like this. What do you think Adu Boahen's lawyers were going to do? And indeed, I had heard them complaining about the fact that, the OSP is conflicted. Okay? He's conflicted.
But do we give him some credit now?
Who?
The
OSP.
At least after studying everything, whether friend or no friend.
No, appreciate his difficulty.
Yeah.
Just appreciate the difficult situation that he was in. And you could see that difficulty show or blatant in the report that he issued, where he spent close to, how many pages talking about educating us on what the sting operation is. Okay?
Yeah.
And eventually came to the conclusion that, listen, there was nothing after all.
Yeah.
The man has lost his job. His reputation has been dented.
Sting, yeah.
Listen, people who know him describe him as a very fine brain. Okay? From Achimota to Infansipum. They speak highly of him. And that's both sides of the political divide. Okay? And he's living with this. His kids and others are going to live with this kind of thing on him for a very long time. How he's going to repair himself after all this, Fema,
But at least, this conclusion from the OSP, he's been absolved of everything.
Would the president reinstate him? Would others have the courage to work with him again? Because then they will say that all you need to do is to Google Adu Boahen.
Yeah.
And all this is going to come out. He was involved in this, he was involved in that, he was involved in this. The vice president issued a statement, saying this. The president sacked him minutes after. And all that, an investigation has come out saying that, hey, this didn't happen. But I don't think he will be reinstated, because since his dismissal, others have been appointed.
Yeah.
Charlie, in our haste to do some of these stories, one will have to take into consideration a lot of things. Okay, we are journalists. We are trained to do some of this stuff. But there's a fine line between what journalism is and what other things are.
Yeah.
Okay, people's reputations are at stake every point in time. And so if you are not sure, Charlie, put it down and get back to it.
Right. So with everything that has happened, this is...
I think Larry raised some...
Yeah.
Do you know what a sting operation is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're explaining to us now.
I mean, no, man.
That's what I was... I found
And
something
you know,
about...
I'm coming,
Yeah.
See, he was given $40,000 when he was lured to Dubai.
Yeah.
There was another person, a lawyer, who was also with him, who was also given $40,000. Hotels were booked for that thing. People were taken from here to that side of town, to that part, to Dubai. Others were engaged, and other things were done. And so it is not just the $80,000. Plane tickets were bought for him by Anas.
But really, I mean, if I'm a government official and you ask me that there's a meeting here or there's, of course, an investor meeting, come over,
he was called there to talk about setting up of an Arab development bank.
Exactly.
Okay? And so that was what he went there to do. And that is where, because of Arab and then the Muslim thing, that was where the vice president's name came in the first place. You understand? That, he is a Muslim. So, and then he's an economist. And so if you want to do this, let's talk to him. You get it?
Yeah.
That is how come the name of the vice president came in.
Yeah.
You called the guys there to talk about Arab Development Bank. The next moment, they are on,
Anyway, so,
is it,
Sting,
if the OSP, that's like I said, sting operation, can it be done by a journalist who just have done, is it undercover recording or investigating? Is it a sting operation? What I found here is a sting operation for the majority. Sting operation contains 4 basic elements. 1, an opportunity to entice someone to commit a crime, either created or exploited by police. A targeted, likely offender or group of offenders for a particular crime type. An undercover or hidden police officer or surrogate or some form of deception. And the 4th one is a gotcha climax when the operation ends with an arrest. So if you look at these 4 elements of
sting operation,
the question is, if me as a private journalist, I do an undercover recording of something, does it meet these things that for it to be called a sting operation? So I don't know whether journalist secret recording also qualify, because in the first place there's no element of arrest. There's no element of police. So the kind of definition that is given here as what must constitute a sting operation, whether
there's
this
no crime.
Whether this is really a sting operation or not. So obviously, that's why I said that when OSP, for this case, he had all the videos. He had all the writing by Anas, everything. So from the onset, he should have been able to say, this thing, we may not be able to establish the corruption, but we can establish the
influence peddling.
But influence peddling under Ghana law is not even a crime. So there will be no need for me to even go into it. But if you take like 6 months to say you are investigating that, you give the public that hope that you are investigating. And then you come back to come and tell us that at the end of everything, you didn't find it. All that you realize that it's influenced by it's not a crime under Ghana. You see, you'll be dousing the hope of people. And then they will begin to point accusing fingers at you that maybe you are favoring some people. You see, all kinds of accusation and conspiracy theories will come in. So I think that the OSP should also look at that. It's not every complaint filed means that at all costs you should investigate. If you do the analysis, they realize that this thing is no need to investigate it. Let the public know earlier so that high hopes of OSP is going to do something will not turn out to be something else, and then people will say, then we said it from the beginning.
Right,
It's
so
very
this
important with
is
our reputation.